Hey, Greg and Steve, it was great to meet with you guys today, and to have lunch. And so, this is a quick little video explaining some of the productivity philosophies and systems that I was talking to you about. So, first of all, um, there's really three areas that there's three books, three philosophies that I subscribe to in terms of thinking about how I accomplish all of the things in my world and on my plate. And one of those is Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. It's the bedrock of any great successful philosophy, I'm convinced. But nonetheless, he talks about the four quadrants. And this is how you identify, this is how you rank what it is in your life that is worth your time. What's the most important? What gets you the greatest results? And how do you deal with everything else? And so this comes in habit 3, where he talks about put first things first. And so if you look here, you'll notice that there are things in our world that are in quadrant 1, which are important and urgent. For example, if you have a genuine crisis, someone needs to go to the hospital, you've got problems that are deadline oriented that come up in the day, those all fall within quadrant 1. The other quadrant up here is quadrant 2. Now these are things that are not urgent, but they're really important. And this is when your higher level thinking occurs. This is when your planning happens. Now for me personally, I've learned that I really only have a quad 2 brain in the morning. So usually from 8 till 11, that is when I spend my time really planning. I don't put meetings in that time if I can avoid it. It's where I get my highest level work and planning and strategy and all of that taken care of. And so quad 3, these are things that are not important, but they're urgent. These are interruptions, phone calls, responding to every email. I think we kind of breed into ourselves a quad 3 thinking with all of the notifications. So if you're getting notifications for email, text messaging, Facebook posts, turn all that off. I mean, all you're doing is creating this Pavlovian response to quad 3 activities. Quad 4 is stupid times. Just steer clear of quad 4. It's junk mail and Pinterest and that kind of stuff. Just stay clear. So that's the first thing, is that you got to identify, how do I determine what in my world is really important? I'd actually recommend you make a little graph like this and start listing the things that your responsibilities and your daily actions, start listing them in here, and I think you'd be surprised, what we think is quad 2, but really is more quad 1 and 3. The idea here is to live above this line. You only want to be working on things that are important, and you want to really get good at planning in the non-urgent time so that there's less urgency calling at you. All right, so the second one, it's called The Power of Full Engagement. This is probably my favorite. It's my favorite book of all time. Even better than Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, and that was amazing. But Power of Full Engagement is the study of energy, not time. And essentially these guys lay out this really compelling case for their performance psychologists, and they lay out this really compelling case for creating healthy rituals around the things that you need to do. And they say that the more mental energy required to start and begin a process, the less likely we are to carry it out long term. So a great example of this is, if I'm going to commit to working out in the morning, then the ritual will be that all starts the night before. So the night before I go to bed, I'm going to iron my shirt for work, and I'm going to lay out my workout clothes, and I'm going to lay out my work clothes, and I'm going to create all of my meals for the next day. When I'm really on my game, I eat 6 meals a day, and I'm going to get that already cataloged and set aside so that the next morning when I wake up for the workout, I have nothing else calling on my mental bandwidth. I can just go do the workout, and everything else is prepared and ready. And so when you think of task management and planning and project planning, the theory that you've got to do it in such a way that you preserve the most possible mental energy so that you can apply it where and when it matters the most, it's really important. Oh, crying baby.
This leaks if you don't put this whole thing in here.
One second. All right. That's Aaliyah. She's new. We love her. Okay, so all of this plays into the processes and systems that David Allen introduces in the book Getting Things Done. So if you do nothing else in the next 3 months, please read all 3 of these books. Now I listen to most of mine. I'm a big audio listener, and I listen to books on Audible, and this is one that I'm going through now for the second time, and it's really tremendous. So the idea of getting things done is that he says that in our life we have things that he calls open loops. It's when you're driving down the road and you're like, oh, I need to call that person, or I need to do that thing, or you're in a meeting and they say, hey, will you create a plan around accomplishing this certain task? And you write down, yeah, create a plan, but where do you write that? I mean, do you just have a rolling Word document? Are you using Evernote, but really it's just you kind of gets lost in a sea of things? I mean, what is the actual system we're using that naturally progresses things through a process till completion? So getting things done, he lays out a really great way to receive, compartmentalize, and process everything that comes into our world. Now, in order to do that,